One of the most common questions I get now is, my child saw pornography, what do I do? Don't panic. This is a question that I've received from parents of kids as young as 5 or 6, all the way through their teens. And we all define porn a little differently, but this really means, what should you do when your child sees anything that you consider inappropriate pictures or video? The first thing I want you to do is, and stick with me here, it's going to sound a little weird, express gratitude without sarcasm. Either, I'm really glad you told me, this is important for us to talk about, or I'm really glad I realized this. It's not something you're old enough to handle alone. Next, also hard, avoid shame. Whether or not your child meant to see this, they may have found something interesting or enticing about it. That makes sense because that is how our brains are wired. We are interested in big emotions, in seeing people interact, and sex. No matter what a child's age, they may find it engaging even if they don't understand why. If you make them feel ashamed, they are likely to feel that shame connected to any interest in intimacy for many years to come. Feel free to tell them you are not okay with this. You can make it clear to a child or a teen that something they've done isn't okay without making them feel like a terrible person for doing it. This is the important distinction that all kids need when we correct them. Your behavior was bad. You are not inherently bad. A child can change their behavior, but if we make them feel like they themselves are broken, they'll give up, because how do you fix that? For a younger child, until age 10 or so, it's okay to just make a rule. This is not for kids, and it isn't good for your brain. And then put a plan in place to make sure that this content is much harder for them to access by accident or on purpose. This plan may have to include figuring out which of their friends have internet-enabled devices and limiting that exposure as well. And then check up periodically by checking histories and asking your child and listening into their conversations with their friends to make sure your safeguards are working. For a tween or a teen, start with a question instead of a lesson. What do you think about this content for someone your age? This can save you from a long lecture that your child already totally agrees with or completely disagrees with and can't hear. This lets you understand your child's mindset before you try to guide their behavior. Still set limits. As your child gets older, it will be harder and harder to ensure that they will never see this content. So the best safeguard are your conversations with them about your values, your beliefs, and your concerns. This gives them reasons to make the decision you hope they will. It's no guarantee, but that's parenting. We give our kids information and values, and as they grow, they choose their own path. Our job is to make sure that they know what we believe and why.